Live from the Sultanate of Oman television, here we present to you tonight's news bulletin. But first, the headlines. The GCC Joint Defense Council stresses on the importance of joint efforts continuation to achieve military cooperation between the GCC states. The new Municipal Council's law enhances specializations of municipal councils and determines elected members with 2 members from each wilaya. And the production of Ghazir field is progressing well, and the condensate has reached 45,000 barrels per day and expected to reach 65,000 barrels per day by next year. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq received a cable of thanks from His Excellency President George Vela of Malta in reply to a cable of greetings sent by His Majesty the Sultan on the occasion of his country's independence anniversary. His Highness Sayyid Shihab bin Tariq Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for Defence Affairs, participated in the 17th session of the Joint Defence Council of Their Highnesses and Excellencies, the Defence Ministers of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, which was held via video call. The meeting dealt with many issues of common military interest that enhance the march of military cooperation within the framework of the Gulf Cooperation Council system in a way that achieves the common interest of the GCC states in accordance with the Joint Defense Agreement among the member states, as well as reviewing the achievements and results achieved in the joint military fields. At the end of their meeting, the ministers stressed the importance of continuing the joint efforts that serve the military cooperation between the GCC states. The Sultanate participated in the 30th meeting of Their Excellencies, the members of the Agricultural Cooperation Committee in the countries of the Gulf Cooperation Council, which was held via video call and chaired by the United Arab Emirates. The meeting discussed the unified system for organic inputs and products, the amendment of the Unified Agricultural Quarantine Law, the Preventive Measures Law against infectious and epidemic animal diseases and their control, and the Unified Law for Protection, Development and Exploitation of Living Aquatic Wealth. The meeting also approved the Gulf Guiding Plan for Controlling Animal Diseases, the Guiding Plan for Controlling Brucellosis, and the Guideline for Pisciculture. The Sultanate was represented at the meeting by His Excellency Dr. Saud bin Hamoud Al Habsi, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources. The official gazette published today that Municipal Council law, which specified the elected members with 2 members from each wilaya, the formation of the council headed by the governor, and the membership appointed members representing a number of government bodies and 2 representatives of resources and counseling people. The new law strengthened the competencies of the Municipal Council, which include proposing means of investing in the governorate's resources, approving regulations for managing and organizing markets, cemeteries, slaughterhouses and waste dumps areas, studying projects for development plans, and approving the establishments of cultural, entertainment and tourism festivals. Investing at infrastructure projects reviewed by the Municipal Council meeting in the Governorate of the FAR. The meeting discussed a number of topics related to develop and improve services and municipal work at the wilaya of the Governorate of the FAR, mainly reviewing the final report of studying and regulating real estate work, in addition to the efforts exerted by specialized bodies to combat Aedes aegypti mosquito. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Sayyid Mohammed bin Sultan Al Busaidi, Minister of State and Governor of the FAR, Chairman of the Council. The production at Ghazir field is progressing well, and the condensate has reached 45,000 barrels per day. These were stressed for the Sultanate of Oman Radio and Television by Engineer Yusuf bin Mohammed Al Ujaili, President of BP Oman.
Ghazir production is progressing very well. We have reached the capacity for this year, which is 1 billion cubic feet per day of gas. Comes with it around 45,000 barrels of condensate. These volumes will increase next year. The gas volumes will increase as well as the condensate, and we expect to reach 65,000 barrels of condensate from next year onwards.
In collaboration with the BP Oman, the Ministry of Education signed today an agreement to digitalize the Omani educational curriculum for grades 1 to 12. More details coming up in this report.
To modernize and transform the national educational curriculums and make them available digitally in line with the Sultanate's 2040 vision on providing inclusive education, the Ministry of Education signed an agreement with BP Oman to fund an ambitious project to digitalize all Ministry of Education grade 1 to 12 curriculums.
This project comes at the right time, as we celebrate the 50th anniversary for the Sultanates. And this is what we call the gift to the nation from the company to the nation, and also to the educational sector in particular.
The project will initially focus on digitalizing math and science curriculums before moving into other subjects to cover all grade 1 to 12 curriculums.
This project aims, as you mentioned, to digitizing the national curriculum into digital content. So at the end, the final product will be interactive textbook that included the different types of education resources and digital content, different types of multimedia, different types of technology apps such as virtual reality, augmented reality, and etc. And also it will be available in mobile apps to be accessible for our targeted educators so they can select the proper education resources for their subjects. So the first subjects will be targeted will be Arabic, science and mathematics subjects, and we will start in next year from January.
It is worth mentioning that a team of specialists will work on developing the interactive electronic structure that is required for the digital curriculum, including smart applications, multimedia, and virtual reality.
Through a user-friendly digital platform that is aligned with global developments, this project will benefit over 600,000 students and 55,000 teachers across the country. Salih bin Khalfan al-Rahbi, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
Thank you, Saleh. The Board of Directors of the Public Authority for Social Insurance approved in its third meeting the final draft of the General Strategic Orientation for the third phase of the Authority 2021-2025. The draft considered as a roadmap to editing and determining initiatives and projects of the Authority for the next 5 years. The meeting also discussed requests of a number of entrepreneurs which came within the framework of the facilitations provided for them and ensured people to pay the annual subscriptions during this period. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Dr. Muhammad bin Saeed Ba'awain, Minister of Labour, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Authority. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and yet to come in our news bulletin, an environment awareness program for cleaning campaigns in all wilayas of the Sultanate is launched by the Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The Minister of Health announced that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate reached 122,081, while the total number of deaths reached 1,380. The total recovered cases reached 113,269. The The ministry indicated that the total number of inpatients reached 256 cases, of which 121 cases are in intensive care units. And here is a tropical storm story. The National Multi-Hazard Early Warning Center weather analysis indicated that the tropical condition in the southwest of the Arabian Sea has evolved into a tropical storm Jati with an estimated surface wind speed around the center with 65 to 70 knots. The tropical storm is heading west towards the Horn of Africa and the Gulf of Aden. The Kazakhstan channel Khabar 24 broadcasted a report on the occasion of the 50th National Day of the Blessed Renaissance of Oman. The report shed light on the old Omani civilizations and the new renaissance led by His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq following the efforts exerted by the late Sultan Qaboos, may Allah rest his soul in peace, in building a modern Oman. It also mentioned that the Sultanate during the last 50 years became an advanced and prosperous state that work on qualifying and training human resources as well as diversifying economy to include all sectors that serve the community. The report described the Sultanate as the most stable, tolerant and peace-loving country in the Arab world, and that it was also sorted among the countries with quality roads. It further said that the Sultanate adopts an independent policy and good relations with all and plays a role of mediator to ease the tensions in the region, which earned it a lot of respect on the internal and abroad levels. It pointed out that the Sultanate was one of the first Arab countries that established political and economic relations with Kazakhstan, as it continues to contribute actively in energy and aviation sectors. The upcoming National Research Forum 2020 that will be held on 14th of December, the National Strategy for Research and Development, NSRD 2040, together with its implementation plan, will be presented. Oman Vision 2040 is focusing on building knowledge-based economy where R&D and innovation are considered as a key components within all four pillars of the Vision 2040. More details coming up in this report. The National Strategy for Research and Development, NSRD 2040, together with its implementation plan, will be presented in the upcoming National Research Forum 2020 that is due to be held in December 14th. Oman Vision 2040 is focusing on building knowledge-based economy where R&D and innovation are considered as a key components with all four pillars of the Vision 2040. The strategy is based on ambitious approach, and its vision aims at research and development that lead to a knowledge society and competing national capabilities, whereas the mission statement is to employ research and development towards the achievement of Oman Vision 2040.
The National Strategy for Research and Development 2040 aims to support the achievement of Oman Vision by promoting the impact of research and innovation in economy diversification and the transformation towards knowledge society. One of these objectives is to enhance the collaboration between academia and the industry and to build national capacity. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq has stressed the importance of creativity and innovative thinking to solve challenges. Hence, efforts are exerted by all concerned.
The NSRD 2040 has identified four strategic directions as the main areas of focus, which are support of research and development ecosystem to achieve innovation-led development, enhance linkages and interactions between all actors of the R&D ecosystem with more focus on the industry university links, promote the impact of R&D in supporting economy diversification and the transformation towards knowledge economy, and sustain knowledge creation and supportive R&D culture to build intellectual capital. In order to deliver the expected vision of this strategy, a robust implementation plan is based on multi-phase approach, taking into consideration the significance of building up on previous efforts and capitalizing on existing capabilities. The plan focuses on contemporary issues of the fourth industrial revolution and associated technologies such as AI and cybersecurity, highlighting the role of social research to support decision-making and policy and support international collaboration to maximize the benefits from R&D-based cooperation for capacity building. The plan emphasized the significance of research and innovation sector as an integral part of the national economy, with more focus on the competent human capital, thereby enhancing innovations and creativity at early stages and across all levels as the key to address challenges. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rabi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat. The Governorate of Al-Buraimi, with its 3 wilayas, witnessed great developments in various sectors. The development march continues in the Governorate in the prosperous era of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq as the country moves forward towards Oman Vision 2040. The Governorate includes 30 schools to provide proper education for the students. They also Buraimi Center for Scientific Innovation to enhance the skills of the youth. There are 9 government health institutions in the Governorate that provide medical care and health services for the citizens and residents. The progress continues in the Governorate of Al-Buraimi to develop other vital projects that serve the community. The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth launched an environment awareness program for cleaning campaigns in all wilayas of the Sultanate. In the wilaya of Quriyat, the campaign was implemented with wide participation from members of the community to preserve the environment and its beauty. The activities of the campaign were implemented in cooperation with the Directorate General of Scouts and Guides as well as the Quriyat Club. The Royal Horse Racing Club by the Royal Court Affairs organized the National Day Domestic Horses competition in Al-Rahba field in the wilaya of Barka. The jockeys competed for the National Day Cup in 8 rounds. Purebred horses took part in the competition. It included tough competitions among the participants as the winners of the first places were honored at the end. It's worth mentioning that such sports are part of the Omani deep-rooted heritage. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman Television, and before we conclude this news bulletin, here are the main points once again. The GCC Joint Defense Council stresses on the importance of joint efforts continuation to achieve military cooperation between the GCC states. The new Municipal Councils law enhances specializations of the municipal councils and determines elected members with 2 members from each wilaya. And the production at Ghazir field is progressing well, and the condensate has reached 45,000 barrels per day and expected to reach 65,000 barrels per day by next year. And with that, we now conclude this news bulletin. Thank you for joining us, and good night.